Spurs have gone through some, let's just say, questionable centre-backs in recent years since the Toby Yan era has ended. But they finally found their pairing, Micky van der Ven and Cristian Romero, of two brilliant centre-backs. And I'm going to talk about both of these players with a particular focus on Micky van der Ven because he's a new signing and he was standout in that Crystal Palace match, and talk about why they are so good, why this is Spurs' secret pairing, and the secret truth about why this pairing is so good together. So please do hit that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. Let's get into it. First of all, diving into Micky van der Ven. This is his performance versus Crystal Palace. He allows Spurs to bear a high line because in situations like this where Palace think, wow, we might be through, we've got a good opportunity here, bosh, Micky van der Ven's there. Tackle, look at using his body, getting the ball in a key area, which would have led to likely a Palace shot, potentially a Palace goal. Micky van der Ven's also pretty comfortable with the ball at his feet. He's not as good as Romero on the ball, but he's still very comfortable with the ball at his feet. And he often gets the ball and he does long passes, progressing it normally down the left-hand side, helping Spurs get the ball moving. But what he's known for, Micky van der Ven, is he is that anti-transition monster, is what I would call him. He's got the legs. He's got the legs. Palace are running into a large space. Spurs have got to get back. Palace could make something of this. It looks like the Palace winger's going to get to the ball here. Bosh! Micky van der Ven is there, stopping a crucial chance for Palace to transition and cause Spurs some trouble. Now, one thing about Tottenham Hotspur this season is they've played some good attacking football, but they've been very open at the back and they have conceded a lot of goals. But you have to think, how many more goals would they have conceded if Micky van der Ven wasn't there? Micky van der Ven's ability to just go bosh and stop these transitions is the reason that Spurs can play football and play the way they did at the start of the season when they went on that 10 or 12 game unbeaten streak. Micky van der Ven allows Spurs to almost put many men forward and really push up and be in a position where they are vulnerable with a high line, but he can deal with it really, really well. Looking at here, it's not just his ability to deal with high line, but he can play those line breaking passes, playing and breaking through the lines. He's quite good with the ball at his feet. I'd actually think he's a better ball carrier than passer. I think he's quite good at getting the ball with his feet and going dribbles and dribbling into the wider space because he's got the pace. I think he's someone that could fit in at left back if something happened to a doggy. Not that Spurs would do that, but he's got the capabilities to do that. But he can play those line breaking passes, as you can see here, which is what Ange will want to do. Ange will always want to get forward. Ange will always want to attack. But what makes him stand out for me is how alert he is. He's always picking up those first and second balls. The ball's bouncing around. Palace players sort of near there, and he's picking up the first, second ball. He's got a Palace player pressing him, and he's ready to move the ball quickly. Another thing about Micky van der Ven that makes him excel, and we saw this in the Palace game multiple times, is he's a good wide channel defender. Todibo's a really good wide channel defender on the right-hand side, which I think is why Ange was interested in Todibo in the January window, and I think Todibo's going to be sought after by Liverpool, Manchester United, because in the way that the Premier League is moving, you want good wide channel defenders in your squad. But he's such a good wide channel defender. His ability to cover wide spaces, his ability to go out wide because he's quick and deal with players 1v1, tricky wingers, tricky strikers. He doesn't just defend centrally, he can defend out wide, stop those 1v1 situations, but also because he's so good out wide and because he's got such long legs and he's so quick and he can cover such mass amounts of ground, a doggy has the flexibility to push it forward more and invert more because he knows that van der Ven is able to cover large spaces. I said this in my video on Spurs the other day. Why Micky van der Ven is so good? Because the way the Premier League is moving, lots of teams in the Premier League are becoming more attacking and transition-based sides, where it's becoming a more attacking brand, the style of football in the Premier League. Everyone's trying to play a bit more attacking. Look like the Bundesliga back in the day. And if you're able to defend large spaces, if you're able to defend against transitions, you're going to thrive in that league, and that's what Micky van der Ven could do. But not only that, I think he's physically pretty good. I think he uses his physicality really, really well. He's got those long legs. He's got that ability to tackle and push opponents off the ball. Amadou Onana is really sought after, the Everton player, and he's got those sort of long legs where he's quite hard to get by because he's always getting his foot on something, and his strides are so big and he's so quick and he can cover so much ground quickly and really sort of, you know, get to people and close in on them quickly, and van der Ven does that well. And if you look at here, Palace think they're through on goal, Palace think they've got something here, but van der Ven is absolutely rapid coming from behind. Bosh again uses his legs to snatch the ball, and multiple times here van der Ven's got to be careful. This could be a 2v1. He could play it through here. Hopefully they deal with the man there. This is a dangerous situation. Palace have got a good opportunity here. But Van de Ven, the way he moved over there so quickly, I should have shown you the frame before, but he was almost miles away from them. And within a split second, he's there closing them down. His ability, his IQ, his ability to read the game and close down the Palace to attack so quickly is mad. His reading of the game, and he was literally everywhere. Every time Palace tried to play it, every time Palace tried to attack, and this is like in Palace's own half, he's almost getting into Palace's own third. He's stopping them, so he's pinning Palace further back the pitch, which is helping Spurs push up the pitch and create more. He was literally everywhere, and when I say everywhere, literally he's in the left back position here, and he's dealing with the player that the other players couldn't deal with, and he's like, bosh, he can do well out wide, he can do well in the middle, he can do a lot. And every ball at the halfway line, it felt like Micky van der Ven was there. And I think he also played out from the press well. I thought he was quite good on the ball. So I've been talking about Micky van der Ven, but I'm going to talk about the pairing. I just wanted to show you this, so when I'm talking about what Micky van der Ven does, you can see what I mean. You know, his long passes, but mostly his ability to stop transition. But I think that Romero is incredibly underrated, because I think in terms of a more complete centre-back, Romero can do things that very few players can do. So can Micky van der Ven, but Romero's ability on the ball is at the top. Like, Micky van der Ven is good on the ball, but really good off the ball. Romero is good off the ball, but really good on the ball. Like, both Romero and Micky van der Ven are good at everything, but they've got their areas of expertise, and that's Romero on the ball, Micky van der Ven off the ball, and that's why they excel. If you look at ball progression statistics, pass and carry, Romero is miles ahead of everyone else. Romero gets the game ticking for Spurs. He can start progressing the ball. He's so key in build-up. He's so key for Spurs progressing the ball, playing the ball forward, and obviously leading eventually to sort of chances and opportunities. And he can sort of push forward, and he can progress the ball through a long pass. His passing so good via carries. And if he does push forward, Micky van der Ven's there to, you know, deal with all the problems. Now, what made Micky van der Ven so good? We're going to sum this up quickly because I showed you, but ground coverage, his ability to defend and occupy large spaces. He can cover such large spaces. He can close down people quickly. He can defend against transition. He can cover so much ground. He can cover the wide areas. He's the perfect modern centre-back. The way the Premier League is going, Micky van der Ven could be one of the most sought-out defenders in the world. Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United, because the way the Premier League is moving, players that are quick, can defend against transitions, can cover large spaces and defend wide spaces, is going to be the most sought out defender in the league. I think the way that football is moving. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I think. Stops almost all counters and transitions. His frame, his recovery speed, Micky van der Ven's speed. That's what he's known for. But it's not just his speed, his determination. He'll put his body on the line. He's very good at winning his ground duels, very good at getting blocks off. He can carry the ball via dribble. He's very press resistant. He's very comfortable playing out from the back. He has the ability to break lines. While he's no Romero, he's still decent on the ball. He wins a lot of ground duels. He's a good dribbler, and he's got a really good reading and understanding of the game, which I don't think gets mentioned about a lot. And as you can see here, this is Everton through on goal, like through on goal, and Micky van der Ven's there. Like, bosh, we know what he can do. But what makes Cristian Romero so good? Because Cristian Romero scored the goal in the Crystal Palace game. 1 goal, 131 touches, 116 out of 124 accurate passes, 3 out of 4 long balls complete, 6 out of 7 aerial duels, and 7 recoveries. We know what Micky van der Ven does, but I think sometimes what Romero does goes more under the radar. Romero having 131 touches, 116 passes, pretty much controlling the game, comfortable on the ball, moving the ball, progressing the ball from deep, playing those long balls while also winning his aerials, while also recovering the ball was so key. Because Crystal Palace, while they're not the best team in the world, when they've got players like Eze, they're always going to cause problems. And Romero, I think, dealt with that just as well as Van der Ven. But I also thought Romero did lots of its work in possession. Now, Cristian Romero, a bit of statistic, has 4 goals. No centre-back has more. Gabriel also has 4 goals. Cristian Romero is known for his monster mentality. This guy, Cristian Romero, he's the kind of player that you think would die for the club. He wants to get on everything. He wants to tackle everything. He wants to get in the way of everything. He has that, I almost call it the South American mentality. This guy is a fighter. This guy is a warrior. You've got Van der Ven, that's just a monster in sort of winning those duels and sort of the transition. And then you've got Cristian Romero, that is that box monster. He wants to win everything. He's better in the air than Van der Ven, so it makes it a good pairing. Because while Van der Ven's decent in the air, he's not as, I think that Romero is definitely a lot better in the air, and I think Romero's ability to progress the ball and dictate the game well is at the top of Premier League players. Again, Van de Ven's good on the ball, but Romero, in terms of breaking lines, playing out from the back, press resistance, ability in possession, technical ability, is one of the best in the league. And look at this. This is Romero's statistics. And this is why I say Romero is almost a little bit underrated, because look how complete he is. I mean, not only just goals and shot creating actions and everything, he's in like the 90th percentile, but passes completed, progressive passes, high 80th percentile for the statistics. Tackles, he's in the 90th percentile. Interceptions in the 87th percentile, and blocks in the 87th percentile. And you'll see that a lot of top centre backs are normally in the lower percentiles for tackles, interceptions, and blocks, because they play for teams that have less defending to do. But because I think Spurs do give him a lot of defending to do, you can see actually how good of a defender he is. You know, he has to do a lot more defending than other players, which means he's more likely to get caught out, but he does that really well. And I think aerially he's decent as well. I do think Spurs aerially might be their weakness. Not saying that Van de Ven and Romero are bad aerially, but they're no Van Dijk, they're no Konate there as well. But as you can see here, this is sort of showing you how complete Romero is. And this isn't me saying anything bad about Micky Van de Ven. I've just spoke about how brilliant Micky Van de Ven was, and I think statistics in terms of measuring centre backs are quite inaccurate, and you can't take them. You have to take them with a pinch of salt. But you can see that how all round Romero's game is. Micky Van de Ven's very good at the forward passes. If they showed transitions and they showed interceptions, and they showed other metrics, Micky Van de Ven's thing would be a lot wider. But you can see with aerial, carrying, duel winning, defensive actions, progressive passes, just how good Romero is. And not to compare him to Micky Van de Ven, but to compare him to maybe William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes. William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes beat him in duel percentage, and that is literally it. Aerials, he beats them. Ball carrying, he beats them. Progressive passes, he beats them. Defensive actions, he beats them. Forward passes, Saliba just beats him out. And Saliba's been praised by Arsenal fans for his ability on the ball. But you can see from these statistics just how good and talented Romero is on the ball. So today's video was to tell you that Romero and Micky Van de Ven are probably Spurs' next Vertonghen and Alderweireld. They are very good players, and the scary thing from a rival perspective is that they complement each other so well. You've got the off-the-ball brilliance of Micky Van de Ven, you've got the on-the-ball brilliance of Romero, but they've got the attitude, they've got the mentality, they've got the IQ, they've got the leadership, they've got the warrior. We're going to do everything for this club. They've got everything that you want. And Radu Dragusin, I think, is also a good player. So Spurs, I think, are in a very good position centre-back-wise, particularly Micky Van de Ven, how young he is. What a brilliant signing that's been. Let me know your thoughts down below, Spurs fans, or if you're not a Spurs fan, let me know your thoughts on Micky Van de Ven as well. Thank you for watching. Bye.